Shalom, brothers and sisters, and once again, this is Shabar Judah, Israel, and it's late night tonight, but I decided to do a video, brothers and sisters, and this video is concerning, the topic for this video is going to be the bread that fell from heaven. Now, basically, what was the bread that fell from heaven? The bread that we're talking about is basically manna in the Bible. When you look at Exodus the 16th chapter, it speaks of manna in the Bible. And we're going to deal with that accordingly tonight. We're going to do this lesson quick as possible. It's really late. So before we get into the lesson, we want to say double honor to the elders and the apostles for teaching us this truth. And double honors to the brothers, the Akim, that's preaching the truth and sincerity, edifying the lost sheep of the house of Israel. And last, and definitely not least, all praises, glorification, and honor due to Yahweh, by Hashem, Hamashiach Yahushai, who the world called God, and Jesus Christ. So now I'm going to get straight into the lessons. The first book, chapter, and verse that we're going to be beginning with is Exodus the 16th chapter. And we'll be looking at a particular verse in that chapter 16 of Exodus. So let's get into it. Brothers and sisters, when you look at Exodus the 16th chapter, it speaks to the hunger of Israel. And then later on in the 16th chapter of Exodus, it speaks of the manna. So basically what we're going to start from is Exodus 16, and we'll read down to some stopping point. Just bear along with me. And they took their journey from Elim, and all the congregation of the children of Israel came into the wilderness of Sin, which is between Elim and Sinai, on the 15th day of the second month, after departing out of the land of Egypt. 16 and 2 of Exodus. And the whole congregation of the children of Israel murmured against Moses and Aaron in the wilderness. Verse 3, and the children of Israel said unto them, would to God we had died by the hand of the Lord Yahweh in the land of Egypt, when we sat by the flesh pots, and when we did eat bread to the full. For ye have brought us forth into this wilderness to kill this whole assembly with hunger. So you can see the children of Israel, what did they do? They murmured against Moses and Aaron in the wilderness. And the children of Israel said unto them, would to God we have died by the hand of the Lord in the land of Egypt, when we sat by the flesh pot. So it seems like here the children of Israel wanted to go back into the land of Egypt because they thought they had it better off in the land of Egypt. Okay, so you can see that these children of Israel wasn't ready for the promised land. They wasn't even looking forward to it. All they was thinking about was going back into the land of Egypt, the same place where the children of Israel were slaves for over 430 years. They wanted to go back to that same place. They wasn't ready for revolution. They weren't ready for warfare, man. Okay, and most likely these were the house niggas, so to speak. They wasn't the field niggas. They wasn't Israelites that was ready to inhabit the promised land. These people that murmur and complain most likely was house niggas that enjoy Egypt, that loved everything about Egypt, the customs of Egypt. I mean, just everything, the whole scenario of Egypt. They murmur because they said that they had it good in Egypt, and they sat by the flesh pots and they ate what? They ate bread. And the reason why I'm bringing this out concerning Exodus 16 and 3, I'm just letting you see that the children of Israel, they already knew what bread was. Because when you read Exodus the 16th chapter, speaking of the manna, a lot of people say, well, the manna was actually bread that fell from the heavens. Okay, well, if it was ordinary bread, then the children of Israel should be familiar with it because they knew what bread was, right? So we're going to look at that one more time. We're going to go into another verse. So this is Exodus 16 and verse 3. The children of Israel said unto them, would to God we have died by the hand of the Lord in the land of Egypt, when we sat by the flesh pots, and when we did eat bread to the full. So they knew what bread was. So Exodus chapter 16, when it speaks of the manna, This is not the first time the children of Israel is coming across bread, man. Because we know that it speaks of the Most High rain bread from heaven. But was it the same bread that they ate in Egypt? Concerning Exodus 16:3. And was it the same bread that they ate in Exodus the 12th chapter? Let's go to the 12th chapter. Because the 12th chapter speaks of the Passover, okay? Exodus 12. Okay, now we're going to show you concerning the bread. Alright? Exodus 12 and 17. It says, and ye shall observe the feast of the unleavened bread, because that comes in right after the Passover. It says, you shall observe the feast of the unleavened bread. This is for the children of Israel. For in the self-same day have I brought your armies out of the land of Egypt. Therefore shall you observe this day in your generations by ordinance forever. Okay, Exodus 12 and 18. In the first month of the 14th day of the month at evening, ye shall eat unleavened bread. So they knew what bread was, even unleavened bread. Until the 1 and the 20th day of the month at evening. So at the first month, which was March, sometime early April, on the 14th day of the month, March the 14th, it says, okay, at evening you shall eat unleavened bread until the what? The 1 and 20th day, which is the 21st day. So you had from the first month of March, the 14th, to the 21st. So if you count 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, that's 7 days. Okay? And that's how long the Feast of the Unleavened Bread goes on, for 7 days. And you are to eat unleavened bread for 7 days. Now look, 19, verse 19 concerning Exodus 12. 7 days shall there be no leaven found in your houses. So you can't eat leavened bread for 7 days, man. Okay? So they knew what bread was, right? "7 days shall there be no leavened bread found in your houses." Because during that time of the Feast of the Unleavened Bread, you're not supposed to eat any bread containing yeast in it. So for 7 days there should be no bread with yeast found in your houses. For whosoever eats that which is leavened, even that soul shall be cut off from the congregation of Israel, whether he be a stranger or born in the land. So don't tell me that the children of Israel did not know what bread was. They knew what bread was. Going all the way back to Egypt, man. We showed you 2 chapters that the children of Israel already knew what bread was. Whether the bread was unleavened or whether it was leavened bread. They knew what the bread was. Okay, so let's go back to Exodus the 16th chapter. So when you come across Exodus the 16th chapter, people want to play dumb and act like they don't know what the bread is concerning Exodus the 16th chapter. Because they act like when the Most High rained the manna from heaven, that was the first time the children of Israel ever encountered bread. No, that's not true, man. We're going to show you what the bread was. Because this is very esoteric to a lot of brothers and sisters. Well, the manna that the children of Israel ate in the wilderness was none other than psychedelic mushrooms. How about that? You don't believe me? Just wait and see. The manna that the children of Israel ate in the wilderness, which Moses called bread, was mushrooms. Psychedelic mushrooms. Okay? Mushrooms that contain entheogen, which some say is mushrooms that contain psilocybin, which cause a person to hallucinate. Okay? So the Israelites, yes, they were stoned, but not with rocks. Okay? And I'm going to show you this. It was Israelites that was hallucinating in the Bible because they were eating psychedelic mushrooms that contain psilocybin that cause hallucinogenic experiences, which is known as manna. How do we know that? Let's take a look at Exodus the 16th chapter. We're going to begin with the 14th verse. Exodus 16, and let's begin with the 14th verse, talking about the manna. "And when the dew that lay was gone up, behold, upon the face of the wilderness there lay a small round thing, as small as the hoarfrost on the ground." So pay attention. There was a small round thing. A small round thing. That's a mushroom. I'm going to show you. Those are psychedelic mushrooms. A small, what else is small and round besides a mushroom that lies on the ground, people? Let's be logic here. Okay, so that was a small round thing, as small as a hoarfrost on the ground. Verse 15 concerning Exodus 16 chapter. And when the children of Israel saw it, they said one to another, it is manna, for they wist not what it was. So to roughly paraphrase this, the children of Israel did not know what in the hell was this small round thing that was on the ground. And they said it is manna. Okay? Most of you brothers and sisters have been taught that manna means bread. Okay? But does manna really mean bread? No, it doesn't. When you look up manna in the Hebrew, get your strong concordance and look up the term manna. And I believe, let's get that strong concordance now. Okay, now we're going to go into the precept tablet to show you the Strong's Concordance number for manna. So when you go in the Hebrew dictionary and look up manna, this is exactly what you come across. Manna, which is M-A-N-N-A, manna in Hebrew, if you look in the Hebrew dictionary, it's 4478, which means man. That's how you would say manna in the Hebrew tongue, man. And it's 4478 in the Hebrew dictionary. And actually, manna means, what is it? So if you want to say, what is it in Hebrew, you will actually say manna. 4478 in the Hebrew dictionary. Manna is man in the Hebrew, and it simply means, what is it? Okay? It was round. It was found on the ground in the dew. Okay? Just keep that in mind. Manna 4478. Man, which means what is it? Do your research. So when they said, this is manna, they asked the question, what is it? Okay? Now, if this was ordinary bread that the children of Israel been eating, how come they didn't find out, how can they not see that it was the ordinary bread they've been eating? Was this the same bread that they ate during the Passover? Was this the same bread that they ate during the Feast of the Unleavened Bread? Was this the same bread pursuing the children of Israel when they sat by the flesh pots in Egypt when they ate bread? Was this the same bread they encountered in Exodus the 16th chapter dealing with the 15th verse? I don't think so. Because this is none other than psychedelic mushrooms that contain psilocybin, which cause a person to hallucinate. Okay? Alright? And those mushrooms contain also dimethyltryptamine, I want to say, which is known as DMT, okay, which causes a person to hallucinate. Okay, so heavily manna will certainly get you high. Manna is actually a hallucinogen, hallucinogen. That's what manna contains, which is mushrooms, hallucinogen. Knowing this, we should have a better idea where the bizarre biblical stories come from. The Bible prophets were stoned, but not with rocks. I know this is funny, y'all, but this is the hard truth. And if some of you are going to find it hard to swallow, man. Some of you are going to say that I'm going off or that I'm telling lies. But this is esoteric. And some of you are going to find it hard to believe, but it's the natural born truth, man. Okay? Back to the precept book, the children of Israel was lost in the desert for 40 years, man. Okay, so going back to Exodus 16 and going to the 15th verse, And when the children of Israel saw it, what did they see? Exodus 16:14 is what they saw. The small round thing, which was simply a mushroom. The Bible doesn't say, but it's esoteric to your knowledge. Exodus 16:15. When the children of Israel saw it, they said one to another, "It is manna, for they know not what it was." And Moses said unto them, "This is the bread which the Lord hath given unto you to eat." So we went over manna 44:78, which is man in the Hebrew, which means what is this? So this is not ordinary bread, because they wouldn't have asked that question. So this was something else, and it was a mushroom. But Moses said that it was bread. Okay, now this is the thing which the Lord hath commanded, gather it every man according to his eating. A omer, which is simply measurement for every man according to the number of your persons. Take ye every man for them which are in his tents. Exodus 16:17. And the children of Israel did so, and they gathered some more, some less. And when they did met it with a measurement, which is an omer, he that gathered much had nothing over, and he that gathered little had no lack. They gathered every man according to his eating. Exodus 16:19. And Moses said, "Let no man leave of it till the morning." Now, why is it that you cannot leave this manna into the morning? I'm going to tell you why. The small round thing was found on the ground in the dew, and it would melt to mush if not dry or collected on time. That's why you could not leave it, because it would melt and mush if not dry or collected on time. And it would breed larvae, which is maggots, which is worms. Okay, all unique characteristic of mushrooms. Okay, when dried, it was like cardamom seed, the consistency and color of dried mushrooms. So if you left these mushrooms, and if they was not collected on time, they would melt to mush, and they would breed worms and maggots, man. And this is all the characteristics of mushrooms. Do your research. So that's why, pursuing Exodus the 16th chapter, that's why Moses told the children of Israel that let no man leave mushrooms to the morning, which was manna. Exodus 16:19. Exodus 16:20. Notwithstanding, they hearkened not to Moses. They didn't listen, but they left some of them. They left them into the morning, and it bred worms, and it stunk. And Moses was wroth. He was hot with the children of Israel, because that's what you do. If mushrooms are not dried or collected on time, they would breed larvae. They would breed maggots, man. Do your research, and this is the characteristics for all mushrooms. All right? So if you don't know the truth concerning manna, on tonight, you're about to discover the truth that the children of Israel were eating psychedelic mushrooms for approximately 40 years in the wilderness. And those mushrooms were causing hallucinogenic experience, and the children of Israel were getting high, man, including some of the Levites, to receive certain revelations in the Bible, to tap into their pineal gland, which is the antenna to universal consciousness, to release that DMT in the pineal, man. Okay? So let's continue on. We're back in Exodus the 16th chapter. Okay? And 21st verse. And they gathered it every morning, every man according to his eating. And when the sun waxed hot, it melted, see? And it came to pass that on the 6th day they gathered twice as much bread, which is mushrooms, 2 omers, which are measurements, for one man. And all the rulers of the congregation came and told Moses. Now the 7th day, Exodus 16:23. And he said unto them, This is which the Lord hath said, Tomorrow is the rest of the holy Sabbath, and to the Lord bake that which ye will bake today, and seethe that ye will seethe, and that remaineth over lay up for you to be kept unto the morning. So why did Moses tell the children of Israel to bake? To basically bake that which you will bake today, and seethe that which you receive. Now, we're going to look up what seed means in the Hebrew. Because why would he tell the children of Israel to bake and seethe the bread, which are actually mushrooms? Why would he tell them to bake or seethe it? I'm going to show you why. Okay? Back to the precept book. okay? To stop mushrooms from developing maggots, man, you have to sieve them. You have to boil them, okay? To stop mushrooms from developing maggots, you have to sieve or boil them. That's what sieve means, pursuing Exodus 16:23 when he said, bait that which you will bait. And sieve that which you receive. Sieve in the Hebrew is bashal, okay, which is Hebrew in the Hebrew dictionary, Hebrew 13:10, which is to boil, to cook, to bake. Now basically we're going to look up to boil. So to stop mushrooms from developing maggots, Moses told them to boil them. Do you boil damn bread? Okay. What bread the children of Israel was boiling during the Passover? They wasn't boiling no damn bread, man, because you don't boil bread. But however, you do boil mushrooms. Okay, so that's what they were doing in the wilderness, boiling mushrooms, and Moses called it manna, man. Do your research now, okay? For you brothers and sisters that want to say I'm going off, do your research, man, because this esoteric knowledge is critical, man, and it's serious, okay? Time, let's skip to verse 31 in Exodus 16 chapter. And the house of Israel called the name thereof manna. Now we just showed you what manna means in the Hebrew. Manna in the Hebrew is 4478, which means man, which means what is it? That's a question. What manna is a question. What is it? That's what it means. And it was like corn seed, white, and the taste of it was like wafers made with honey. Because they submerged it in honey to dilute the awful taste of the mushrooms. And Moses said, this is the thing which the Lord commanded. Fill an omer, which is a measurement of it, to be kept for your generations, that they may see the bread wherewith I have fed you in the wilderness when I brought you forth out of the land of Egypt. So he said that mushrooms should be kept throughout our generations, which is manna. I'm going to show you. And Moses said to Aaron, take a pot and put a measurement full of manna therein, which are mushrooms, roughly paraphrasing it. Take a pot and put some mushrooms in it, which is full of manna therein, and lay it up before the Lord to be kept for your generations. Now, why would they be keeping bread for their generations, people? Why would they keep bread around for their generations? To observe the Passover? Okay, to observe the Feast of the Unleavened Bread? But just think about it. During the Passover, you have to eat unleavened bread. During the Feast of Dedication, Salah, not the Feast of Dedication, but you know what I'm saying, the Feast of the Unleavened Bread, you have to eat unleavened bread. So why would bread be kept around throughout your generations? Or was this the bread that they ate aforetime, dealing with the Passover and the Feast of the Unleavened Bread? No, this bread was mushrooms that are to be kept throughout your generations. And why would he say put them in a pot? Come on, people. Do your research. So you can see Exodus 16:33, and Moses said unto Aaron, take a pot and put a measurement full of manna, mushrooms therein, and lay it up before the Lord to be kept for your generations, because they would go and they would use those mushrooms to get high, to release DMT. Okay, they would get dimethyltryptamine from those mushrooms, which is called DMT. Some call it entheogen, and some call it psilocybin, which those mushrooms produce. And they would use it to get high, to receive revelations, to receive divine revelations from the Most High, to tap into their pineal gland, to be intact with universal consciousness. They also would use those mushrooms. They would also use those mushrooms to enhance consciousness, okay? Because the pineal gland, which is the size of a pea inside of the brain, okay, which is located in the center of the hemisphere of the left and right parts of the brain, which is the pineal gland, the size of a pea, which is the shape of a pine cone. That's known as the seat of the soul, okay? That connects you to universal consciousness, okay? So the pineal gland can become calcified, okay? And it can become blocked to shut you off from universal consciousness. And actually the pineal gland is spoken of in the Bible. Just look at Genesis 32. When Jacob had an experience, he wrestled with a man. And basically what he called that place, pineal. Because the man he wrestled with basically was taking place within the inner being. Okay? And when he overcame, he received the word Israel, and he called that place pineal. Pineal means the face of God. Okay, so God's face is actually the pineal gland. That's how you have an inner relationship with the Most High. By tapping into your pineal. But if your pineal is closed, you can't see God face to face. You can't have no interconnections with Him. Okay? And the children of Israel, when they ate that manna, it releases, that manna that contain those poisonous mushrooms that contain DMT, open up the pineal, man. Okay? So, in those mushrooms, is known as entheogen. Okay, which is two Greek words. Entheogen, which is basically busted up into etheos, which is full of God, because in the Spanish language you would say theos as God. So etheos in the Greek means full of God or inspired. And when you look at genstai, it means to come into being or to come in. So when you put etheos and genstai together, what you get? You get entheogen, which causes God to be within the individual. Okay, so when you hit those mushrooms, which is manna, it releases basically entheogen. Now what is that? It's known as psilocybin, the magic ingredient in magic mushrooms. Psilocybin causes you to have hallucinogenic experiences to open up the calcified pineal gland to connect you to universal consciousness, man. So you can see it's in the Bible. It's on an esoteric level though, and most people can't get it. So Moses and Aaron concerning concerning Exodus 16 and 33, Moses and Aaron took a pot, measurement of full of manna therein, and laid it up before the Most High to be kept for their generations. As the Lord commanded Moses, so Aaron laid it up before the testimony to be kept. Exodus 16 and 35, and the children of Israel did eat manna 40 years. They ate mushrooms, psychedelic mushrooms for 40 years until they came into the land inhabited. And they did eat manna until they came into the borders of the land of Canaan. So the children of Israel was in the wilderness 40 years. And they was eating mushrooms, psychedelic mushrooms, and they was having a hallucinogenic experience. Yes, they was, people. These are just some verses dealing with manna, which is known as mushrooms. Numbers 11, 6 through 9, Deuteronomy 8, verse 3, Deuteronomy 8, verse 16, Joshua 5 and 12, Nehemiah 9 and 20, Psalm 78, 24th verse, John chapter 6, 31st verse, John 6, 49th verse, John 6, 58th verse, Hebrews 9 and the 4th verse. We want to definitely go here before we close out. And Revelation 2 and 17. So let's go to Hebrews 9 and 4. Hebrews 9 and 4 concerning manna, which is mushrooms. And this is the last verse and we'll close out. This is the book of Hebrews, chapter 9, verse 4, concerning the manna. Hebrews 9 and 4. Which had the golden censer, is talking about the Ark of the Covenant. Which had the golden censer, the Ark of the Covenant, see? That was the box that the Levites used to tote around, had consist of 2 golden poles. Which had the golden censer, the Ark of the Covenant, overlaid round about with gold, wherein was the golden pot that had manna. Now why in the hell would they keep a golden pot that had manna in the Ark of the Covenant? Because anyone, look, in order to be a high priest, you had to be a descendant of Aaron, okay? So anyone couldn't touch the Ark of the Covenant, because if you touched the Ark of the Covenant, you fell dead. You dropped dead, man. Okay, so why would they keep a pot with mushrooms in the Ark of the Covenant? To keep the children of Israel from eating those mushrooms, man. Because those mushrooms, after they inhabit the land of Canaan, those mushrooms were kept in the Ark of the Covenant for the Levites. Because they would go in there, they would get those magical mushrooms, which is known as manna, and they would have a hallucinogenic experience. They would tap into the pineal gland, and the Most High would reveal to them, He will reveal to them spiritual divine revelations through those mushrooms, man, from the hallucinogenic experiences. Okay, so verse 4 talks about the Ark of the Covenant that the Levites kept. And in that Ark of the Covenant, there was a pot, a golden pot that had manna, and Aaron's rod that budded, and the tables of the covenant. So why in the hell would the Levites keep a gold pot with manna in the Ark of the Covenant? Obviously, they didn't want the children of Israel to get to it. Because if you went up there trying to open the Ark of the Covenant, you dropped dead if you weren't a Levite. So that's just something to think about. Why in the hell would they keep bread in the Ark of the Covenant in the golden pot? This was more than bread. Moses called it bread, but however, it was truly psychedelic mushrooms, okay? So this is edification for you brothers and sisters on an esoteric level. If you can't get it, then I don't know what to say. You just can't get it. The truth is not for everybody. Everybody can't receive the 100% truth. But I pray that your eyes and ears may be opened up so that you can understand this on an esoteric level, brothers and sisters. Even Yahweh Shai said in his word that he spoke in parables, and some things are hard to be understood to certain people. But if the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai is dealing with you, brothers and sisters, truly you will receive it, and you will get this concerning these magical mushrooms that is known as manna in the Bible. Until the next lesson, this is Solid Foundation Israelite Academy, also Solid Foundation International Ministries. This is Shabar Judah Israel. Until next lesson, we say shalom.